This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto on the Digital Sportscentre presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. And as you can see, I'm on location in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix, as we will be giving you shows straight through into the race on Sunday, and everything is being set up starting now. So you can hear a lot of beeping on the show, but it's just a part of the magic, okay? You gotta see what's happening behind the scenes first. And don't worry, we're gonna have a ton of F1 action for you all week, including driver interviews, behind the scenes action. You know how we do it out here. But let's start today on the pitch, as Canada's men's national team will take on Cote D'ivoire in a final Canadian Shield tune-up before the Gold Cup next week. The big news for today is that Cyle Larin will start and will also be wearing the captain's armband. Yesterday, he caught up with our guy Matthew Shinetti to talk about captaining the team.
You know, Kyle, I was going to ask you about the striker competition, and then your coach went ahead and basically announced that you're going to be captain tomorrow. Yeah. So before we get to how you're going to keep yourself really in front of the pack, what is it going to mean to you to walk out this tunnel knowing that there is a trophy on the line?
No, it means a lot to me to captain the team, and the years I've been here, I've got to see great captains and great players, great guys that led this team and built this team to where it is today, and even guys we have now that are captaining the team and leading the team, and for me to do it my first game and in Canada at home where I grew up, it's special, and I want to go out there and then do something special with this team, and because the guys deserve it and the hard work we've been putting in.
And don't worry, we'll have more shooter in the next segment. You can watch the Canadian Shield tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Sticking with soccer, we're now joined by our guy Matthew Shinetti. Great to see you, shooter.
What's up, Marissa?
It was an offensive outburst for Canada against Ukraine, as they scored 4 goals, the most in the Jesse Marsch era. Are we finally starting to see a perfect fit between personnel and tactics?
Yeah, I don't know if it's perfect fit just yet, but that roster rotation and that depth to see Nathan Saliba start and play well, young Luc Dufour-Jarol play well in defense, Nico Segur, those are all great signs for Marsch. But if you're really looking for a positive and a perfect fit, it's the reemergence of Tajon Buchanan. 2 amazing runs, 2 assists, a goal. If his offense and confidence really is that high, then Canada's whole offense and really its whole team is going to take a level up.
Tonight's game is a final tune-up before the Gold Cup next week. Given the victory over Ukraine, have the expectations risen for this team? And what do the players think they're capable of at the Gold Cup?
Well, think to near 365 days ago when I was in Rotterdam. It was Jesse Marsch's first game, and they conceded 4 goals to the Dutch. We are now a year later, and Canada scores 4 goals against Ukraine, the 25th ranked team in the world. So yeah, this team hits another growth point. Their confidence is high, and speaking not just only to the players, but people around the entire men's program, maybe a few weeks ago getting to the semifinals was the bare minimum. The bare minimum now going into the Gold Cup is the finals. And even that might be a little short, because this team is looking at next week's competition and thinking, yeah, we're the favorites, and we should be going in to win.
Shooter, you're the man. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Marissa.
Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals was one to forget for the Oilers, as not only did they fall behind in the series, but they also suffered their biggest loss of the playoffs. But while Oilers fans may feel like the sky is falling, the situation might not be as bad as you would think. History tells us that getting blown out like the Oilers were in Game 3 isn't actually a death sentence. In the last 10 seasons, 40% of teams that lost a Stanley Cup Final game by 5 or more goals came back to win the series. And while that's encouraging enough on its own, what's crazy is how similar the Oilers are to those 2 teams. The first of these teams is actually last year's Florida Panthers, who people might forget were in nearly the same situation last year, as Edmonton is in right now. They're coming off a loss to Vegas in the Cup Final the previous year, then were blown out on the road in the middle of the series. But as Oilers fans surely remember, Panthers held on and won the Cup in 7 games. But an even better example is the 2019 St. Louis Blues, who, like the Oilers, were down 2-1 after suffering a 5-goal loss in Game 3. And Edmonton is hoping they can respond like St. Louis did, as the Blues followed that blowout loss by winning 3 of the next 4 games. And oh yeah, the Stanley Cup. So guys, like I've been saying, it's the Oilers, okay? It's gotta be. And it's also worth noting that a big reason why the Blues played so well after getting blown out was Jordan Binnington, who came alive in the second half of that series after struggling in games 1 through 3. And interesting enough, Stuart Skinner's stat line is very similar to what Binnington's was. So will we see Skinner bounce back like Binnington? Well, only time will tell. Time now for the big play replay presented by Montana's Barbecue and Bar. And if you're looking for the play of the year in baseball, look no further. It happened last night, and we're not getting anything better all year.
And this one to center field. Denzel Clark on the move back after he stepped towards home plate and makes another catch.
Oh my God!
Back-to-back weeks where he wins the electric play of the week, and he's already on the leaderboard for this week.
You go ahead and book it. I've heard the list. I've seen the list of the greatest catches you're ever going to see in your life. If you don't have room for this one on your list, we're watching two different sports.
Whoa, dude. Okay, I believe it's worth noting that this man is from Pickering, Ontario, okay? Shout out Pickering, putting out the best athletes in the business. Let's go. I believe Shawn Mendes is also from Pickering, Ontario, so you do the math. That's it for you today from the track, but don't worry, you'll be seeing a lot more of this place, just a little more done up, I think. We'll see you back here tomorrow.